Okay, guys, I want to take a little bit of time to kind of guide you through how to search for sources on the university library. I think having someone model that is important. And there, of course, are resources online on the library, but I also wanted to do it for you. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen because this weekend, I'm going to ask you to go and find two sources for your research paper. And these are sources that you will be using in your paper. So you want to start looking for sources that will kind of give you insight and information about the question that you're asking. Not necessarily answers, but give you knowledge, existing information out there that's about your topic. So a couple of things to keep in mind when we're looking. One, we're looking for information about our question or our topic. And two, we also want to make sure that we look for multiple points of view so that we get a full understanding. So that doesn't necessarily mean give me a pro and a con. I think we go to that because that's the thing we've been taught all the time. I need pros and cons. I can't find any cons for students researching in nursing. Yeah, I'm probably not going to find cons for that. So we don't think think in terms of pros and cons. We think more in terms of points of view. What are the different points of view or perspectives that exist about researching, about the learning that goes on here, and that kind of thing. So let's head over to experience 1. And we're going to go to week 3 because that's where we have some quick access links to the library. So we're going to scroll all the way down past the assignment because we're done with that and we're ready to start looking for sources. And so number 9 on week 3 is where we can start to access our sources. So there's 2 links here and I'll go over them. I'll go over the library and then I might make a separate video for the research guide. So if you are interested in that, you just can look at that. So let's go to the library. So when we get to the library, this is what we find. There's a lot going on here and it can be quite intimidating. So the first thing I want to talk about is this area right here. This allows you to search the entire library. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in a little bit. When we search, we need to have keywords. So not the whole question, not every part of the question, just the big ideas from the question. So my question is, how do English majors do research? Now, if I type in that question into the library, it's not going to get me much. That's because the library database, the search engine, is an older search engine and it doesn't know how to read questions. All it is looking for words. And so when you put all these words in there, it's going to try to find an article or a document that has those exact words out there. And that's not likely to happen. So instead we want to give it keywords. So we're going to take out the words that don't mean anything in this question, right? So how and do, that doesn't mean anything. Do doesn't mean anything. That question mark doesn't mean anything. So here is the keywords, or here are the keywords: English majors and research. So I'm going to go ahead and use those keywords and I'm going to separate them with a Boolean search term, which we learned in our tutorials. Helps us search for information. And what this does with the word and in all capital letters, you have to do all capital letters. It's going to ask the search engine to give us articles or sources that have both terms in that article. And if we find an article like that, it's most likely going to be on our topic. So I'm going to go ahead and click enter with my terms, and it's going to take me eventually. Here we have a bunch of search results. Now, as I start to look at these, like these aren't really it. A practical research for online mode of business English major is kind of maybe, that is a cool perspective. But as I look, I'm not really getting anything that's going to give me even a partial answer to what I'm looking for. So what's going on here? Well, the first thing is that my keywords aren't specific enough, or maybe I just need to change them or mess with them a little bit. And so sometimes just doing a small tweak can help. So instead of saying English majors, maybe I say English students. And maybe instead of saying research, maybe I go with research processes. When I say process, I'm talking about the ways that research happens. So I'm getting a little bit more specific with that. Let's see if I get anything different now. Got different results now. But now the word English is making it sound like people who study English, and that's not what I meant. So English major and students. So I'm adding an extra key term here. I'm deciding, maybe I want to go back to using the word English major, but I also want to include the word students. So I'm just going to see if that'll give me anything. Enter. Okay, now we're kind of getting somewhere. This one sounds kind of interesting. An investigation into English major self-regulated writing strategies, research on school process. Now we're getting somewhere. I think I found some useful keywords. Now there's a lot of stuff going on. These are books. Some of them I have to actually go to the library to get. I prefer to get online stuff. There's also over 7,000 results. If you notice, if you go back on the video and you look at the number of results, every time I refine my search, the results get smaller and smaller. You want that. You're narrowing down your pool. So the more specific, the better. Although if we get too specific, we might lose sight. So we want to get in a middle Goldilocks zone, nice little warm temperature of specificity. But still 7,000 is a lot. And this is all over the place. I might keep some of these, but I might not. If you choose to use one, let's say I choose to use this one right here. There's a couple of things you notice down here. We can download the PDF. That means we have access to it. That's good. Not everything in the library is accessible. And we'll talk about what to do if that happens in a little bit. But we can access it. So I like that. We can also cite it. We need to be paying attention from this moment on. We want to make sure we can give credit where credit is due because we're good, honest people. So this little button right here, if you can't see that, these little buttons right here, that gives us the citation, which is really nice. So when we click on the citation, we can actually just copy paste this and save it. And I want to encourage you guys to do that. Anytime you find a source that you're going to use, copy paste that citation, hold on to it, put it in a notebook or something so that you don't lose it. And I like to do that myself, especially with my essays. I say, I might use this. I think I'm going to use that source. I'll just include the citation already, have it there in the bottom, and download the source for myself. And I can download this source. So if you look right here, you can actually download it. It's going to log me in. And here we are. It's giving me access to the source, which is pretty cool. I can read it here or I can download it. If you come over here, you'll see this little blue button. We click on it, we can download it as a PDF and have a copy of it on our computers for reading on our own time, just in case. So that's how you can access things through the search all function. But this one doesn't always work. And I want you guys to also have access to looking at more field-specific search engines, because that's just searching the whole library. But sometimes we want to get more specific than that. Actually, let me go back and I'm going to steal my my search terms. I like to copy them just in case I need them in the next place. I'm going to go back to the library. And now, instead of searching the whole library, I'm going to go to Find. And I'm going to go to the databases. So here, this is going to give me every single database. What's a database? It's its own little search engine. But it's usually excuse me, it's usually field specific. So each of these databases is connected to a specific subject. There's math ones, there's biology ones, there's pre-med ones, there's English ones, there's writing ones, there's language ones. So they all are just individual little mini Googles for that subject. And all the information in there is mostly credible. So if a teacher asks you to do research, they mean come here and get information from here. So let's go. What I like about the databases is it actually organizes everything by subject. Now I'm doing English, so I'm probably going to want to go to the English. You see that? If we click here, we can actually find English right there. And if I click on it, it'll take me to search engines that are just for English. Right? I went English. I'm going to refresh it just to make sure it is, because I'm messing with it so much. Okay, I think it did. So there's over 44 search engines just for English alone. A lot of them here. My favorite one to use in English would be Humanities Full Text. As you go and you start searching through different ones, you get to be familiar with different ones, and you'll like certain ones over others. I'm going to take my search terms, these are the same ones I asked the whole library, but now I'm going to do it only in a English specific search engine, because my question is about English. So if you were doing nursing, go to a nursing one. So here's about process of revision, students writing processes, senior students per session of entering a research meeting. That might be useful to me. And again, I might want to change my search terms. English major or English studies is also another way to talk about it. Let's see what I get now. A few changes. So this is one, but I want to show you why it's important not to just rely on one. Let me try a different one. Let me try JSTOR. And so the more that we try, the different sources that we're going to get. So I want you to try a lot of them. And don't only focus, I'm going to leave the English area in a little bit. So there I am, and I'm just going to search for in this one. And so now I have career planning and the English major, the relationship between reading process and English skills and deaf college. Oh, that's an interesting perspective. Going to the source, research paper writing experience. So I have a lot of stuff here as well, but notice these sources are different than the ones listed here. Oh, that one's interesting. From major preference to major choices. Was their life before the English major? So these are, I'm just fascinated by these. Especially the R word, research as a tacit process. Might be interested in that one. Of course, you can click on it. You can download them. You'll always find places to download them. You'll find places to cite them. I love this because I don't have to worry about the citation myself. I just copy paste this in. I can take it to my Word documents or my essays and save them there in case that's the source that I want to use. And I can keep looking around. So you get radically different sources depending on which search engine you use. And I also want to show you how it's important not just to rely on the one that's connected to your subject, but try different ones. So sorry, I'm going to go back, find databases. And I'm going to try now, instead of just doing the English, I'm going to try, well, my topic is about education, like how we learn. So I'm going to try the education point of view, the education subject. Look around, we have education full text, Eric. I like Eric from EBSCO. And I'm going to type in the same keywords. Oops, I lost my keywords. Darn it. Okay, maybe I can steal them back. Let me see. Yes, okay, I have them over here. Eric. Okay, so I'm going to put in my search terms and I'm going to hit search. I'm going to get a radically different set of sources. So yeah, the process orientated European language. And what I'm getting is I think I might need to change my terms. English major, English studies and students and research processes. Okay, we're getting something different. Does it meet students' expectations? Research under practice. Ooh, I kind of like that one. Here's one that isn't on here, potentially. Notice that it doesn't immediately have the word full text or a link to a PDF. It says find it. If you like a source, but it might not be there, you'll have to hit find. Now, sometimes it'll be somewhere within the university, sometimes it won't. Usually when we can't find it, oh, there it is. You have to actually physically go to the library to pick it up because it's not online. That might work for us. That might not work for us, especially if we're mostly online students or someone else has already checked it out. But if I really want to get this, I might be able to find it through places like Google Scholar. So I'll save this one so I can show you guys that in the next video. But for me, this was really important to show you guys. The last thing I want to show you will be the research guides, but I'll make a separate video for that because I like the way the research guides work because they separate everything, and this can be a little bit confusing. Oh, before I move on, I do want to show you one last thing. You know what? I'll make a separate video for how to access the video resources. I think this video is just going to be about how to search the databases and how to use keywords. And I encourage you to play with your keywords, changing them up. Be willing to let go of some parts of the keyword to help you find the right sources. So for now, we're going to stop it here, and I'll make a couple more videos that are more focused on other areas of searching, so you can choose what videos you actually want to watch.